पौष कृष्ण द्वितीया बुधवार दिनांक 3 जानेवारी 2018 चरक चिकित्सा स्थान साल 18 सूत्र क्रमांक 24-25 शंखं चक्रं जलपान्दतमृतकटं चारुदौर्भिश्चतुर्भिः सूक्ष्मस्वच्छातिरुद्यां शुकपरिविलसन् मौलिमम्भोजनेत्रं कालाम्भोदोज्ज्वलाङ्गं कटितटविलसच्चारुपीताम्बराढ्यं वन्दे धन्वन्तरिं तं निखिलगतवदप्रौढदावाग्निनीलम् प्रौढदावाग्निनीलम् ब्रह्मणो हि समारब्धामात्रेयाद्येषु पूजिताम् अस्मदाचार्यपर्यन्तां वन्दे गुरुपरम्पराम् आयुर्वेदरतं वन्दे माधवाख्यं महागुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं शिष्येभ्यो यः प्रदत्तवान् द्रष्टाज्ञानी दृष्टकर्मा कृतकर्मा तथैव च अध्यापकोऽभिषक्श्रेष्ठो महान् संशोधकस्तथा गुणैरेतैः समुदितैः यत्कार्यं प्रतनोति सः समृद्ध्यर्थं हि कार्यस्य वयं नु प्रयतामहे सरस्वत्यै नमो यस्याः प्रसादात् पुण्यकर्मभिः बुद्धिदर्पणसङ्क्रान्तं जगदध्यक्षं वीक्षते आत्रेयं प्रथमं वन्दे आयुर्वेदजगद्गुरुम् आयुर्वेदामृतं सर्वं गृहीत्वा हि सुरेश्वरात् अग्निवेशादिकेभ्यो यत्प्रेच्छत् मुनिसत्तमः प्रथमं तन्त्रकर्तारम् अग्निवेशं नमाम्यहम्। अद्य बुधवासरः पौष कृष्ण द्वितीया दिनांक 3 जानेवारी 2018 चरक चिकित्सा स्थान 18 सूत्र क्रमांक 24-25 विषमासात्म्य भोज्याति व्यवहार वेग निग्रहात् महीनां शुचितां नृणां व्यापन्नेऽग्नौ त्रयो मलाः कुपितः क्षयजं कासं कुर्युर्देहक्षयप्रदं दुर्गन्धं हरितं रक्तं श्रीवेत् भूयोपमं कफम् अतोऽनन्तरं क्षयजकासः इत्यस्य आरम्भः विषम असात्म्य भोज्य अतिव्यवाय वेगनिग्रह घृणीनां शोचतां घृणा शोक व्यापन्नेऽग्नौ त्रयो मलाः when there is agni vyapat all these doshas they get initiated kupitaha kshayajan kasan kuryu they create kshayakasa dehakshaya pradam which is dehakshaya pradam. So basically starts with kshaya and leads further to dehakshaya. Durgandham haritam raktam shtivet puyopamam kapam, and then the kapha is durgandha harita shava rakta puyopama. So as I was explaining yesterday that there can be cases of this kind, Raja Yakshma kind of thing, and these are rare now, but since Yakshma is returning back through AIDS, now this is quite possible to see these cases. Sthanat utkasamanascha hridaya manyate chutam. So the cupping is so powerful that he feels that the heart has left its place. Hridayam pratisam manyate chutam. It has dropped down. Akasmat ushna shitarto babhashi durbala kushah. So suddenly he is ushnartha or suddenly shitartha or something like that. And babhashi eats more, much more quantity. Durbala krusha, but still is durbala and krusha. Snigdhachya varnatva srimad dashanalochanaha. So mukha varna and tvak, these are snigdha and acha, and darshana and lochana, these are shrimad. So we see some oja on his face. पाणिपादतलैः लक्ष्मणैः सतता सूयको गृणी. So Panipadatala Arshlakshna. No, this is typical. So this might have been taken by Kollatkar sir. Actually, it is not Panipadatala. He tried to observe it in the Manibandha Sandhi or Ankal or even at Janu Sandhi, that there is a Lakshana Sparsha, and he correlated this with Shukra Kshaya, and he treated all these cases with Shukra Vruddhikara medicine and successfully treated. I have also successfully treated these cases with medicines like Shatavari, Ashwagandha, Gokshur, Kapikachu, etc. So those Shukra Vruddhikara medicines work. It may not be Raja Yakshmana, it might be Sandhika Tavata, it might be something else. But even then, this is found, and so I have noted this reference for the first time. Lakshana Guna has been mentioned in Lakshana. So, worthwhile to see whether Lakshana Guna appears somewhere else in Lakshana portion.
ह्याच्यामध्ये येतो ना गुळगुळपणा
गुळगुळीतपणा, तळहातान तळपाय. डायबिटीसला काही अर्थाने येतो. In diabetes also this can be observed. And in Medasara, this is Sukumaratva or something like that.
फक्त पाणी पावलं तळ म्हणजे तळपाय
तळपाय and तळहात. So these are the soles of hands and feet and not the above part. But Collector Sir's observation is on the above part. There is Lakshanatva. Satata Suyako Gruni. So Asuyaka constantly or something like that. Matsari. Gruna he has. Jvaro Mishrakrutistasya Parshvar Penaso Ruchi.
म्हणजे काय असूया आणि हे का
सतत असूया का वेगळा आणि घृणी वेगळा. घृणा, one who has घृणा constantly.
कोणाची गुण
कुठल्याही गोष्टी
असूया का म्हणजे
हा
असूया का म्हणजे
हे करणार, मत्सर करणार. असूया. ज्वरो मिश्राकृतिस्तस्य. ज्वर is मिश्राकृति. पार्श्वर पीनसो रुचि. पार्श्वरुषा and पीनस अरुचि. भिन्न संहत वर्चस्व.
ज्वराची मिश्राकृती ज्वराची का
ज्वराची. ज्वर मिश्राकृती. 2-3 ज्वर एकत्र असल्या मिश्राकृती. Swataja, Pittaja, Pittaja, Kaphaja or something like that. But not really the samsarga or something like that. Pinasaha aruchi bhinna samvata varchastvam. Samvata varcha is bhinna and samvata. Swarabhedo nimittataha. Without any reason there is swarabheda. Ityasha shayaja kasa kshinanam dehanashanaha. So this is भिन्न म्हणजे फुटलेलं असणार सर्व पण संवत तरी सुद्धा वर्चस्व म्हणजे पुरुष ना खडा होईल असं नाहीये. खाली पाडभेद आहे त्याला काहीतरी. भिन्नवृत्त पुरुषता. भिन्नवृत्त पुरुषता असं त्याने आलं. इत्येषा क्षयशः कासः. Without any reason. निमित्त is cause and without any cause there is Svarabheda. Ityeshah kshayashah kasaha. So this is kshayaja kasa. Kshinanam deha nashanaha. If the person is kshina, then that kills the person. साध्यो बलवतां वा स्यात् याप्यः तु एवं क्षतोत्थितः. In a strong person, this may become sadhya. याप्यः तु एवं क्षतोत्थितः. क्षतोत्थित वृक्षतोत्थित is याप्य. नवो कदाचित् सिद्धेताम् एतौ पादगुणान्वितौ. If they are now new, then these two. And if they are having a proper padagunas, then siddhyetam, kadachit siddhyetam, they may get cured. Sthaviranam jarakasa sarvo yapya prakirtitah. In a old person, the jarakasa is definitely only yapya. It's not sadhya. Yes, falls in yapya category. Sadhya, but yapya. विषम इत्यादिना क्षयजमाह. अत्र च विषम असात्म्य भोज्येन तथा व्यवायेन तथा वेगनिग्रहेण विषमाशनज धातुक्षयज वेगसन्धारणजानां यक्ष्माणां लक्षणभूत कासहेतुत्रयं पृथगुक्तं भवति. Now this is again a bit controversial issue. The Charkacharya has clubbed all these in a single entity over here. Whereas while explaining Raja Yakshma, he gives samprapti of each causative factor. Vishamashanaja is different, then Dhatukshayaja is different, or something like that. So Vagbhata has clubbed all together and put samprapti together, and Ekadasha Rup, Shadrup, and Tirup Raja Yakshma, he explains like that. But Charkacharya starts with each causative factors, give elaborately the samprapti, and then says that this is Sahaja Yakshma or something like that. And now, here in Kshayaja Kasa, it might be arising from any of the reasons, but ultimately it leads to this Kshayaja Kasa, which is Dehanashana, and incurable in Shina Purusha or something like that. Shina Nara. So Lakshanabhuta Kasa Hetu Trayam Pruthaguktam Bhavati. So they are said separately. Atra Prasanna Drushtitvadi Vyadi Prabhavad Bhavati. So रसोप्यस्य रक्ताय मांसाय कुत एव तु उपस्तप्तस्य शकृता केवलं वर्तते क्षयी सर्वधातु क्षयार्थस्य बलं तस्य विड्बलम्. Only thing is this rasopyasya raktaya, it doesn't go to rakta, but there is a category of rasatmaka oja. So rasatmakam vahanti oja, that is a reference. And even the kapha is also called as ojas. Prakrutastu balam shrishma viprato mala uchyate. So shaivojas pratak kaya sacha papmopadishyate. So in this way, the rasa provides oja or something like that. Rasa becomes oja. And that is why there is Srimad Dashana Netrata. Though this oja is not really Saptadhatu Sara, because there is no formation of further dhatus to adequate quantity or proper quantity. So this is only Rasatmaka oja, but it shows its influence. मिश्राकृतिरिति लिंगो ज्वरो भवति. So it may not be manifested as Vata Pitta Samsarga or something like that, but some Lakshana from Vata Jvara, some Lakshana from Pitta Jvara, some might be from Kapha Jvara, but may not be called as Samsarga Jvara or Sandipatika Jvara or something like that. Bhinna ityadi. Bhinna varchastvam animittato bhavati. तथा स्वरभेदोऽपि अभिनिमित्तो भवति. So Avibhiddhata he has put to both Bhinna Samvata Varchastva and Swarabheda. So Bhinna Varchastva and Samvata Varchastva might be two things that is also possible, and Bhinna and Samvata together also might be possible. Vataka or something like that. देहनाशना इति असाध्या इत्यर्थः. पादगुणान्वितौ इति वैद्यादिपादचतुष्टये गुणवन्तौ. So if the four padas of chikitsa are good enough, sampanna, then it might get cured. Now the question is, this seems to be quite difficult to cure this Raja Yakshma in old days, and now it is very difficult to comment on what would have happened before. Madhavara Peshwa died of Raja Yakshma, and at that time they also tried allopathic doctor, European doctor, and apart from Vaidya and other things. Nothing worked, and he died. And the reasons are quite simple. Overactive schedules, etc., was were the reasons about that, and of course stress and other things. But would it have been curable in today's framework or something like that? As I was trying to explain yesterday, the approach towards infectious diseases changed drastically after the discovery of various microorganisms like bacteria, fungi, virus, etc., etc. And actually, when antibiotics came into picture, there was a total change in the approach. And people started understanding that we were not knowing these facts, that these are the small germs which are causing these infectious diseases. And now see how antibiotics work like miracle, and diseases get cured very quickly, effectively. And all scientists were thinking that now we'll conquer all microorganisms, and there will be no infectious diseases anymore or something like that. But then this principle of killing the microorganisms with antibiotics got widespread, and misuse of them started. So the same antibiotic, when given in inadequate dose or inadequate period or something like that, doesn't kill it completely. And then there are relapses. The organisms develop immunity towards those antibiotics, and you have to use higher generation antibiotics. And this process is still going on for so many years now. At the same time, the immunity of the all living beings, not only human beings, but all living beings, it's getting down. Now they tried to do it genetically modified. Now cotton, it was supposed that there was a particular bondali which was a big problem for the farmers, and so they all switched over to genetically modified cotton. And now this year again, that has attacked the genetically modified seed doesn't protect the plant. So there will be a setback for the farmers. They will again have to go back to original seed bank or something like that. So even that approach has failed, and now we have natural enemies that have also been lost, particularly in farming, various kinds of other insects, etc. And another important thing is due to this mechanized approach in farming, particularly. Huge tractors doing a lot of work in no time or something like that. For them, the farm has to be big. So, in between, there used to be obstacles, bath, and for bullock carting or bullock farming, that was sufficient. But with tractors, these obstructions have been removed, and the farms are very big, having one crop, single crop. And when it is hit by infection, whole crop is in danger. And for that, you need pesticides and etc. And that is how you spoil everything. That is the scenario. So initially there was 8 piece farming also, 8 to planche sheti. This was the thing. One or two portions used to be kept vacant without any crop, and you keep on changing the crops in each part. So there is no chance for infections to grow more, and in between you have some other crops or something like that. So the technique of farming has been lost, which was traditional, and the crops are becoming more susceptible to infectious diseases. The same thing is happening about animals, other animals. Now there is tremendous growth of cancers in animals as well. So this is not very well observed, but cancer is spreading in animals as well. And human beings are definitely affected. There is no doubt about it. So it should have been the concept of building up immunity right from the beginning. Sahaja Kalaja and Yuktikruta Bala. That is what Ayurveda says about it. And the only strength that we can achieve is Yuktikruta Bala. Sahaja, we may try to emphasize upon before conceiving, so that if you become strong after Panchakarma and do Rasayana and Vajika and Sevana and then go for conception, then your next progeny will be healthy. Kalajabala is Rituvyapat is very common now, and even to get Kalajabala is becoming more difficult. And Vihara Ahara Yogaja is Yuktikruta Bala. The Ahara is fully spoiled. There is no emphasis on exercise or yoga class. And at psychological level also, there are stress and depression, anger and anxiety, and so many other factors. So the immunity is getting lost at various fronts by various reasons. And the infection in the microorganisms are gaining more and more strength. So that is why there will be epidemics once again, and people will die like previous epidemics in near future in countries like India. There have been already uh, epidemics in animals. In China, few years before, lakhs of hens were killed because the infection was not controllable, something like that. So, like that, these are the things which are now clearly visible. And how to overcome this? This is a big issue, big problem. There is one book written by One Straw Revolution and Japanese person, and then there is Marathi translation, Gadgil Kranti, and then this Subhash Palekar's efforts of going back to natural farming, to geography farming, etc., etc. So these are the ways to revival, and gradually some people are turning towards it, but this should become a movement across the globe, truly speaking. And of course, there will be opposition from corporate sector, from these big companies, etc., etc., because it's their bread and butter that they are trying to steal. But anyway, at national level or international level, this is a requirement now that we go back to natural farming, previous ways of traditional farming, etc. And the ecological balance between the plants and animals has to be restored once again. It so happened that there was no need of bullocks anymore. We have tractors now. Bullock cart is gone. Plowing by bullocks is also gone. And so only the Jersey cows, hybridized cows, as long as they give milk, they are good for us or something like that. And the cow dung, the urine, etc. These were the fertilizers, natural fertilizers for the plants, crops. They were replaced by these chemical fertilizers. And infectious diseases were being covered through pesticides. This is the scenario right now. So natural immunity, natural enemies, nothing is there now. And if they don't have natural immunity or natural enemies or something like that, how come by consuming those that food material we get natural immunity? That is another issue. If the crops do not possess natural immunity, if the animals do not possess natural immunity, how by consuming them we get natural immunity? So aharaja bala is totally lost. What remains in our hands is just viharaja bala and maybe aushadha purta bala, rasayana aushadha, vajikana aushadha or something. And that is not being emphasized anyway. So this all should become a movement, and then only our next generations will be saved. Even we are at big risk right now. And to save ourselves is also a big task. And the next generation is more prone to varieties of diseases. And how to save that next generation is again a big task. So, yesterday I had a conversation with a patient from Canada, child, 8-year-old, suffering from neuroblastoma, spread all over the body on morphine right now. So, where are we leading now? If this is the picture of next generation, what is his fault? Truly speaking. we are our ancestors made a mistake, and the whole current generation, next generation is paying for it now. And still we are not becoming aware of all these things and not changing ourselves or something. So this is, I said yesterday that I will talk about this infectious diseases. The only way out is building up immunity and calling back natural enemies or something like that and control the thing. So these pesticides also kill natural enemies and the whole ecological balance is gone. This is another important feature of today's farming or hazard of today's farming. As such. थर्मसमधलं पाणी तरी थोडंसं so भिन्नवर्चस्वमनिमित्ततो भवति स्वरभेदोऽपि अपनिमित्ततो भवति पादगुणान्वितान् वृतौ इति वैद्यादिपादत्रश्चगुणवन्तौ न चात्र कदाचित् सिद्ध्येताम् इत्यभिधानेन याप्यः तु असाध्यत्वानाम् एकविषयत्वम् यतो नवयोरेव चतुष्पादसम्पत्त्या साध्यत्वमुक्तम्. So if they are new and in a strong person, then only they are sadhya. Now this Dilek Mandir picture, the Nayak suffers from TB and he is being treated by doctor. And now when that movie is shown, there is a line that TB is curable. Just not to make people frightened about it. TB is curable. Again, as I said, TB might be curable, but the patient may not be able to survive or something like that. Like as I said, that bone marrow is clear, but the patient doesn't survive or something like that. So killing, whether it is going to improve life quantum is a big issue. We have one sutra, ahimsa pranavardhana. Now, if we are thinking of pranavardhana, then ahimsa should be our principle. So live.
जरी तुम्ही सांगत असलात तरी सुद्धा काही टीबीचे पेशंट वाचलेले आहेत असं बघायला मिळतच ना.
आहेच की त्याच्याविषयी मी कुठे नाही म्हटलेलं आहे, वाचलेलं आहेच.
ते बाय ॲलोपॅथीच वाचलेलं आहे.
ॲलोपॅथीच मी कुठे नाही म्हणतोय. In this Vaidyaka Satta, he clearly mentions about TB itself in the Prastavana. That in US, before the antibiotics for TB came into existence, the occurrence of TB had gone down from 75% to 12% just because of Samruddhi. So, the richness that America developed, that was the sole cause for controlling TB. When it has dropped down from 75% to 12%, you can imagine. And remaining 12% has gone by antibiotics. Or something like that. So the basic reason behind TB is poverty and malnourishment, etc., etc. Even today, conventional medicine says that malnourishment is the root cause of diseases in underdeveloped countries, and overnourishment is the root cause of diseases in rich countries or advanced countries or something like that. Ultimately, it is associated with nourishment. The nourishment can be improper, either malnourishment or excess nourishment or something like that. And even infectious diseases, uh, they show their appearance or they show their strength when the person is malnourished. Even in swine flu, only those people who didn't have good immunity, they died, maybe due to some other reasons or something like that. So ultimately, it is associated with immunity, and immunity is not being emphasized. Ultimately, it is dependent on your lifestyle, truly speaking. In Vedic Satta, Nadkarni says that it is rather simple. What is required for immunity? Simple food, proper rest, proper exercise. I may add proper thought processes and proper controlling stress, etc. These are also now needed or something like that. But are we emphasizing on that? Proper food, proper rest, proper exercise. Are we emphasizing on that? And then Ayurveda, what Ayurveda says differently, Ahara, Nidra, and Brahmacharya, these are things. No, Brahmacharya is not in anybody's mind, even today. Conventional medicine has much more to do work about Brahmacharya or overindulgence in sex. That is still different. But Ahara and Nidra, these are very common things. And those have drastically changed. That is the issue. So, the fact that the antibiotics have conquered infectious diseases, this was for a while, and now again the cycle is getting reversed. And this is due to unidirectional approach or something like that. Truly speaking, we should have holistic approach and not taking care only of the microorganisms, but also taking care of our own immunity. Now, Gadgil Sir used to say yet another point. According to Chanakya, if war is inevitable, then it has to be done on enemy's land and not in our land. That is what Chanakya says. So if you are sure that enemy is going to attack you, then better you attack him. And the war should be in his land. Because whosoever wins or gets defeated, the war land definitely gets destroyed. So let it not be our land, let it be enemy's land. That is what Chanakya emphasizes upon. So if it is against again a war against those microorganisms, let it be not in our body, but in environment. Cleanliness of the environment, that is emphasized in developed countries. So sanitation and proper drainage system, water, etc. They are taken care in Western countries. In developing countries like India, this is not the scenario. So there is a lot of favorable atmosphere for the microorganisms to grow outside. And when they enter our body and create a disease, then we try to kill them with antibiotics. At least we should try to destroy them in the outside, in the environment itself. Or instead of saying destroying them, we should not allow them to grow. If we have cleanliness, they will not grow like that. That is one aspect. Even when they enter into our body and do not show any sign or symptom, any onset of disease, at that time we should keep our immunity up to the mark so that uh, they don't get a chance to produce a disease. And even after getting a disease, even if you want to go for antibiotics or something like that, antibiotics role at kshayaj and the bahulya condition, it will create dryness. If overused, then shushkata will be created in srotas. In Vata Kasa, AB positive असेल तरी, it should not be used. This is very difficult to answer. Ultimately, what is appropriate at what time, that is to be understood. If they are able to treat it with Ayurveda, that is fine. But if, as I said, our immunity is less, the immunity of the microorganisms is much strong, it might not be possible to conquer the disease. Maybe with the help of antibiotics or modern medicines or something like that. We may have some advantage. There are disadvantages as well. So it ultimately depends on the situation at that time. But still, depending only on that is also not correct. So there will be a victimization by that as well. And unless and until we have very strong medicines, which will be able to conquer that, it will not be possible for us to conquer the diseases. So my emphasis on that, about that is, like what Atreya has said about Ganapadodvamsa. He asked Agnivesha to go and collect herbs before they get destroyed due to Ganapadodvamsa. And वयं येषां रसवीर्यविपाकप्रभावान् उपयुक्ष्यामहे यांश्च वयम् अनुकाङ्क्षामः ये च अस्मान् अनुकाङ्क्षन्ति. This is a very typical sentence. So they are also desirous of getting used for somebody's benefit. So one has to collect them before they are destroyed. Now with the addition of Rasa Shastra particularly, we can use medicines in very small quantity. They are very powerful. And when the body strength is much less, it is advantageous to use the Sarasastra medicines. And we have already seen the results of Hemagarbha, Trailoka Chintamani, Bhratva Chintamani, etc., etc. in acute conditions. So may it be fever, may it be heart attack, may it be stroke or any kind of these things. We have already seen the results of all these. So we need to emphasize on them and keep medicines ready with us. So I am going to emphasize on production.
अशीच जर समजा आपण ह्याची प्रॅक्टिस करायची ठरवली असती फक्त वनस्पतींची तर आपण काय औषध दिलं असतं?
We have to depend on forests. And if we want to increase the strength of that, then the only way is giving bhavanas more or Shatapaki or something like that. Ultimately, some energy has to.
आपल्याकडे निर्गुंडी आहे भरपूर, आपण निर्गुंडीच्या भावना देत राहायचं असं ठरवलं
चालेल.
तर निर्गुंडीचे सगळे उपयोग काढून ती कशाला अशी उपयोगी वेगळी पडेल का किंवा
पडेल,
त्याचा
पुन्हा
घनसार
पडायला
करणं.
पडेल, पुन्हा पडायला.
Question is an acute condition. If it is getting failure, giving all and all this, you require much time. So you don't have options.
नाही ते एक झालं.
No, there are more advantages of Rasashastra medicines because there is lot of Agni Sanskar within it. Okay, making Bhasma. I have told this before as well. There is one allopathic doctor in Lucknow, and he knows a particular Vaidya who is quite old, 95 plus or something like that, and has miraculous results with Rasa Shastra. So this allopathic doctor is in love with that person. That he is a miracle man or something like that. And further, he justifies Rasa Shastra. That there are bound to be very good results with Rasa Shastra medicines. You can apply the principle of E is equal to mc square into about that Shadguna Balajarita Rasa Sindhu. So 6 times it is processed with Gandhaka, Parada is processed with Gandhaka, and the amount of heat that has entered into that molecule.
पण मग एखाद्याला जर पचत नसेल तर अन्नाचा पण आपण इतका शिजवत नेला तर त्याला इतका पचेल.
No, that is still different issue.
Materials you are actually processing, so they can withstand something. When it comes to food, its limitations come up to steaming, boiling level. If you go beyond that, they will get crushed, and what you get is, instead of getting a rice, cooked rice, you will get paste.
So ultimately it is a game of energy that I feel, and the more energy you can accumulate in a very small amount and release it when it reaches the body, it enters the body, energy will fight. It's like a force again. I was told by this Robert Soboda one strange Vaidya from Kashmir actually. He used to treat cases of acute rheumatoid arthritis with a very strong medicine, and very hot. The person has to eat 1 kilogram of navneeta butter a day while taking his medicine. Otherwise, he will not tolerate that medicine. Consider acute cases of rheumatoid arthritis when all joints are swollen and very painful, and any movement is not possible. The patient used to get relieved within 3 days and everything normal or something like that. So this I have heard from Robert Soboda. But we can consider how strong that medicine would be or something like that. It should be something like this. More heat has gone into it. And that's the beauty of mercury. That it can accumulate that kind of heat within itself. And that heat is released later. And ultimately it is all Pachana and Dipana. Nothing else. What our treatment is Pachana and Dipana. So if we have that strong Agni, then we can treat anything. So the best thing today is to emphasize on the Rasa Shastra medicine. Get them prepared well. Keep a stock. Another thing is they can stay for long period. So we don't have to bother that it becomes Hinavirya or something like that. It can stay for a longer period and can be used anytime after 10 years, 15 years also, something like that. And when the immunity has gone down, there is no immunity from the food. We try to regain our immunity through natural food. That is another issue. Changes in natural farming like that. But still there are going to be cases like this. And how are we going to tackle these cases? It may be tuberculosis, it may be cancer, it may be heart attack, it may be something else. If you want to use only herbal medicines, you can, but then you have to be very much expert. These are like broad spectrum antibiotics, Dosha Shastra medicines. Still, I am thinking about this. The mode of action of herbal drugs and mode of action of Shastra medicines. Ultimately, there has to be some liveliness. These are all ores and other things. So, non-living things, Shastra medicines. But still, we have bhavanas from different herbs. So, it's not only mineral, it's herbo-mineral or something like that. And we are living beings and we need something living for us. The major difference between allopathy and Ayurveda is allopathy is emphasizing on non-living things in medicine. They have left behind the natural resources, the natural way of using medicines or something like that. May it be vitamin, they are not trying to get vitamins from the fruits, eating fruits or something like that. They are emphasizing on synthetically prepared vitamins. They are emphasizing on painkillers and steroids and antibiotics. These are all synthetically prepared or something like that. Nothing is natural now. So we are natural. We are a part and parcel of nature, and we should have natural products. That is the main thing. So if it is the beauty of Rasha Shastra, though they started using unnatural, they are natural, not unnatural, but non-living things, khanija or ore. Still, they made it fortified with living thing or something like that. And this capturing of particularly heat energy has been the principle. And in ancient text, we have Shatapaki Balatel, we have अल्पस्यापि महार्थत्वं कुर्यात् संयोग विश्लेष काल संस्कार युक्ति भी. So there were other ways with this, but still one has to do these things, and then we will be able to survive and we will be able to provide medical care to needy persons in coming years. Rasashastra Aushad having action mainly on Dhatu and Vanaspati Aushada yeah, mainly on dosha. No, it's not like that. They have both of them have actions on dosha, dhatu, mala, everything. There is big story by this Appa Shastri Sathe. He was a disciple of Trembak Shastri from Varanasi. Trembak Shastri was very well known Rasa Shastra. He was practicing Rasa Shastra. And somehow they had disputes. And Trembak Shastri said angrily to Appa Shastri Sathe that, okay, you return my Vidya to me. Appa Shastri said, yes, I return your Vidya to you. I will not use any Rasa Shastra medicine henceforth. He made a vow. And then he started using herbal medicines and still got name and fame using herbal medicine. So ultimately, it is the understanding. Only thing is, Trembak Shastri was very famous. There is another big story told by Hardikar about Trembak Shastri. Hardikar's father, Hardikar died at the age of 90. His father, is a long backstory. He had been to Varanasi for some tapachara or something like that. So he had not gone for the practice or something like that. So he was staying at one's house, going to Ganga every day, doing his rituals. And it so happened that the house where he was living, his wife got a snake bite. So Trambak Shastri was the main person over there. So they took her to him. Trambak Shastri said, no, nothing is possible. She is going to die. I don't give any medicine. They were not knowing that this fellow is a Vaidya. So he said, okay, I will treat her. So he gave medicine and she recovered. So Tambak Shastri then understood that some Vaidya treated her and she got cured. So he was astonished. So he asked called that fellow, his Hardikar's father. And then he asked, what did you give? And then he said, whether you are asking as a Vaidya or you are asking as a layman or something like that. If you are a layman, you will not understand anything. And if you are a Vaidya, then this is not the way. He was annoyed by the way he talked to him or something. Thereafter, he didn't tell that what medicine did he use. But their flow of people started at Hardikar's house. So people started coming to him for medicine. Now he said, I am not here for practice purpose, but it's my duty to give medicines if somebody is in need. So Hardikar said, we were sending medicines of 1 month, 2 month, 3 month duration regularly to Varanasi, free of cost. He was not charging any money till he completed his ritual for 3 months or so. Then he left that and came back to Ahmedabad. But the very fact Trambak Shastri was well known at that time and he had miraculous cases. Hardikar also has miraculous cases, there is no doubt. And even his son, who died at 90, also had miraculous cases. Nadi Pariksha was one of these peculiarities or specialities like that. But what I feel right now, if we really want to get results, we need to emphasize on Rasa Shastra and prepare very good medicines that will last long. And if we go for 6x, even we prepare 1 gram medicine, that is enough for us, for our whole generation, even for further generations or something like that. Without any side effects, etc. But still, this would be helpful or something. So let us emphasize on this, and I would like to share my thoughts regarding action of drug, the permutations and combinations, and the varieties of samskaras, etc., etc. How do the original properties of the drug, the combinations, the samskaras, and how they all work. So this might be true for herbal medicine. This might be true for Rasa medicines. So anyway, I want to understand it by myself. And कोणाचा आहे?
डॉक्टर येऊन गेले होते का वाडा गेला
हा? गेला.
ते काय म्हटले मी
की काहीतरी जरा चमत्कारिकच चाललं. Anyway, we conclude today and continue tomorrow with Sushruta Samhita. So I have in mind that after completing Sushruta Charistan, now only the last chapter is going on, I may try to emphasize on this karmukatva or mode of action of medicines in Ayurvedic perspective. And further, we study even the Rasa Shastra texts. I'm thinking of Vangasena as next text, or Vaishajatmavali as next text, but Vangasena might be a better choice because nobody reads Vangasena. So let us think about that. That's a better choice to do. आयुर्वेदः प्रकाण्डो निगदितैः हि शल्यतन्त्रप्रधानः शिष्येभ्यः शाश्वतोऽयं निखिलजनकृपा व्याप्तचित्तेन येन आयुर्वेदस्य वाञ्छन् पुनरपि भुवने ताञ्च सुष्ठु प्रतिष्ठां श्रेष्ठं धन्वन्तरिं तं प्रणमति च सदा वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनम् वैद्यवर्गो हि नूनम् विरम्यते व्याख्यानव्यापारात् श्वः पुनरपि मिलिष्यामः।